Going back to a topic we kind of touched on, let's talk about obscure anime.
Sure, great. What do you want to talk about?
What are some obscure anime titles that you really like?
How obscure?
I know Joey's going to say.
That's the thing. It's time to fight now, right?
I know Joey's going to say Mononoke, right?
Mononoke.
Mononoke. I need to see that.
I think that's one of the best.
You haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'll say it's really obscure. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mononoke is, I think, one of the best horror anime to be ever made.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like it's like genuinely the only show that actually creeped me out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's very difficult to do because there's a lot of really fucking mediocre horror anime out there.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, would you say like Legends of the Galactic Heroes is obscure? Because I don't
I
know
think
if
nowadays it would be.
because I've know like a lot of people.
I think prior to the reboot, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who've heard of Legends of
Yeah.
the Galactic Heroes, but I hardly know anyone who's actually watched it. You know,
Right.
because it's one of those shows where people put it on like their to watch list as like one of these shows they have to watch, and then no one never watches it.
Yeah, like a Brotherhood or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the same level. It's about as obscure. That's a pretty obscure show, right?
Here's one that for me. Have any of you seen Garakuta, Mr. Stain on Junk Alley?
I have not.
Could you say that
When
again?
did that come out?
Garakuta, Mr. Stain on Junk Alley. I think in like 2005 or something.
Japanese name. Jerry normally sometimes knows the Japanese.
Yeah. Whatever the
I
Japanese.
think it might be just Garakuta. Google it.
I'm trying to figure out what your baseline for. Would you say Bokurano is obscure?
I haven't seen Bokurano. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's good. One of my favorite shows.
Is that the one we were talking about with the kids?
Yeah, yeah, I love
yeah.
This is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I would say that because did you Google it? It looks bizarre. It's like a CG series of shorts.
Is this it?
Let me see. Garakuta, Mr. Stain on Junk Alley.
I've
Does it look
never
like
seen that.
Mr. Stain on Junk Alley?
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
What is this?
Check it out sometime. It's hilarious.
This looks like a video game.
You gotta show
me
this.
this.
Yeah.
It looks like a PC game from like the 90s.
Oh, I see like the OG Funimation logo on this.
Yeah,
What?
no, Funimation put it out. They didn't dub it, but
What the fuck?
yeah. It is.
How did you find this anime?
A friend of mine was just like, "Hey, let's watch this." I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was great. Like at first, I thought it was just gonna be like stupid,
Yeah.
and it kind of is, but it's so weird and so entertaining. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Right.
Like it's just the weirdest, funniest. Like it's surreal. So that
The problem with a lot of obscure anime is that a lot of them are not that great. It's probably the reason why they're obscure as well. Like, because like it's really hard to find like a real diamond in the rough when it comes to anime because nowadays especially
People know about
so
shit.
many people are exploring the deeper
Everyone
sides
watches
of shit.
everything.
Yeah,
now.
that like now whenever
Yeah.
an obscure show does kind of pop out from under the ground, then people are going to start talking about it. Right?
Sure.
I really want to watch more of those. You know when you see clips of like they people just post like 30 minutes like amazing animations from those like 80 OVAs.
Yeah.
I really want to watch more of those.
They're
but
like-
it's like because there seems to be so many cool OVAs from the
Dude,
80s.
there are so many like
Like
80s and
insane
90s
animation.
OVAs
Yeah.
where it's just like I didn't think 120 frames per second anime existed until I saw the 90s OVA era.
I really want to watch some of those, but I'm just like, where the fuck do I even begin?
But even those like obscure 90s OVAs, like back then in like the early 2000s, they were like,
Yeah, they
well,
weren't
like
so
you know, like
obscure.
if you talk about like Genocyber or something, right, or like Violence Jack, where it's like no one fucking watched those back in the day, but now they're like so fucking obscure that people are talking about it again, and now they're
Yeah.
like more talked about than before.
Yeah.
So it's like because you know, I mean, I wouldn't say Genocyber is a good show necessarily. It's violent as fuck. That's probably the reason why it's been talked about. But like, yeah, a lot of the problems with the obscure shows is that like most of them, in my opinion, are like a 5 out of 10, and that's why no one wants to talk about it.
But also, it's just like it's really interesting just to watch that like kind of like OVA period where it just seemed it felt underground, you know,
Yeah.
like where it just felt like anime went through this like edgy teen phase where it's just like let's make everything as violent as fucking possible.
Yeah, I watched it. I went on like I remember going on like a binge of like these like 90s and 80s OVAs when I was in my I'm 14 and this is deep era, and it was the best. But even though a lot of the shows were so shit, just like on the grander scale of things, it's just like yay, blood, violence, sex, woo, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like stuff like even like the original Devilman was like obscure until it got the remake.
Oh,
because
yeah.
no one had heard of Devilman
Yeah.
basically before it got remade.
Yeah.
Sick.
Huh?
Well, I mean, it's also extremely old. It was like made in the 60s or 70s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are any of you like me and like log every anime you've ever watched? Or no?
I did for a while
then
on
you
like my
didn't keep
anime
up with
list.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did for a while until it just, I don't know. I stopped doing it.
It was like an
and-
achievement after a while, like Xbox.
it kind of like gamified watching anime for me, and then I didn't really like that because
See, I
sometimes
love gamifying everything in my life. I love it.
the board game guy,
The board
of
game
course.
player.
I have everything I've ever watched. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because like it got to a point where I would start like finishing anime just so I could put it on the list.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's
And
the
I was
best.
just like, I don't enjoy this. I got to a point where I'm just like, why am I finishing this?
Yeah.
I literally am watching, like, wasting hours of my life to finish a show just so I could put it on my fucking list.
Just so I can talk about it for like 2 minutes in a
Yeah,
video.
yeah,
right. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it wasn't worth
and
it.
then I found out that it would just like ruining my enjoyment to a lot of shows, so I
Yep.
stopped doing it. And
I'm sorry to hear that, but that's the exact opposite with me.
oh, really?
That's why I watched Clannad After Story. I was like, I gotta watch it just
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, I get it because time is limited, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just a nerd who just likes doing this, and like, if I had, because there was actually a period where I would drop shows really fast, like maybe
Yeah.
in like my teen years or whatever, like early 20s, like. I was like, this is boring. I'm gonna stop. Oh, it's 3 episodes. It's boring. I'm gonna stop. Right.
Yeah.
And then I kept dropping stuff over and over and over again. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start like finishing stuff. Even if I start hating it, I'll hate watch it to the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Clannad, well, we're talking a lot about Clannad. I think revisiting, you're going into it after like a 14-year gap or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the first like 8 episodes kind of suck. Like they're not very good.
Yeah.
Fucking shit. I'm
Yeah, 'cause-
gonna say that literally put me off Clannad.
Yeah.
Like-
It's very
The-
slow.
even
The
for
fucking
Afterstory,
the
like,
fucking
it's-
starfish girl. I'm just
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I can tell you're like,
Fuka.
yeah, I fucking Fuka. I completely forgot now. I could tell like they were trying to pull my heartstrings. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
this bitch,
she's awful. Yeah, and then they bring her back, and she's just awful. But but then because I stuck with it and watched it, like, and the last 10 were like really good. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm glad that I like stuck with it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of tying back to like the whole reviewing thing.
Yeah.
Going back to like obscure shit. So there was. Have you seen Tonkatsu DJ Agataro?
Yeah.
That one's great.
That's a great show. Is
Yeah.
that obscure though?
Feel
Because
like
Do you know
I-
what that is?
I'm gonna search it up.
because they made a lot of memes of that. I remember that
Oh,
show.
did they?
Yeah, because that's such a memey show.
Yeah.
So it's like I remember at one point.
What is this show?
It's a guy who works at a tonkatsu restaurant.
Okay.
And he's like, I want to make him a DJ, and he starts applying the skills that he learned through making tonkatsu into DJing.
It's
It's
one of
great.
the weirdest shows.
It's
Oh,
great.
I have seen this one. I've not finished it, but
Okay.
I have watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really weird. This is like I noticed like you find a lot of obscure shows, I guess, through like the early 2000s era.
Yeah.
Where I think after around like I think it's around 2016, 2017, everyone just started watching everything.
Yeah.
But there's this like magical golden period, which is between
it's between the 90s, end of the 90s OVA era
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like the golden age of the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
early 2000s, there's just so many
Yeah.
fucking shows where it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
is
yeah,
this?
because there was like a lot of anime being produced back then compared to like, say like the 90s and everything like
Yeah.
that. But because of how the internet was, we just didn't have access to every show like we did now.
Sure.
So if like fan subbers just didn't choose to sub it, then you just wouldn't hear about it
True,
at all.
yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like a lot of the shows you're saying now just comes from that lost era. God, it feels weird to call it a lost era. Fuck.
The lost
The
era.
lost era. The void
Fucking
century.
early 2000s. Oh my god.
See, I'm just looking at my
Is
list here.
this your hobby just to like find
Obscure
obscure anime to like
Yeah, I
talk
just like
about?
talking about it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Connor can attest. Like when we met at the Anime Awards.
Yeah.
It was like you, me, like Miles, and like a couple people just like
Yeah, and you were
hanging out
just-
in the lobby, just talking about anime. Just like, have you seen this or do you know this
I
one?
swear,
Like,
I fell out of my depth pretty fast. Some shows, and like, yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I know that one. Then they started talking about shows, and I'm like, okay, I don't know that one. And then I don't. What the fuck? That was just like crazy though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Everyone had like different levels of anime knowledge, but
Yeah,
everyone was there because they had something sort of to do with anime.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
It's like going down like the anime iceberg, you know. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where are you on the iceberg?
Yeah, my main memory of that was just you just playing Love Life in the corner while everyone was just like awkwardly sitting there. But all you could hear is, and this guy was he's just like, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I respected that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah. What award did you present at the Anime Awards? I can't remember.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Did you just turn up? You're like, fuck it, all right, I'll turn up.
Yeah.
Do you remember yours?
I
Yours?
did.
I remember I think I did best comedy.
I think I did best girl.
Best girl.
yeah,
okay.
Oh yeah, you did. How was the Anime Awards? Because I was sad I didn't get to go to that
It was
one.
really fun, right? I mean,
Chill.
yeah, we
Went to Chipotle.
we went to McDonald's.
Yeah, you got to see like the Crunchyroll
Oh yeah, we
studio,
went to
didn't you?
McDonald's. Yeah, we went to the Crunchyroll office. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Very fancy. I remember. Yeah, we went to the really sketchy McDonald's in San Francisco.
that's right. Yeah.
Why?
Because it was after the party, and so
We were fucking hungry.
yeah, we were. It was like 11 p.m. We were really hungry, and
I was
the
quizzing you on British slang.
Yeah, that's right.
We were
yeah, I
going through
remember
like
this.
differences and stuff. Remember that? Yeah.
And we went to this McDonald's that was really, really sketchy. It was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
like no windows. It was like really dimly lit. It was
Yeah.
really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Everyone who came in was a character. Like in GTA. It was
Well, like a
crazy.
GTA character.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was just
So just downtown LA. then.
yeah,
Yeah.
San Francisco's scarier than LA, I think sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because like I hear stories from like some of the shit Mail-In says, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way this is a thing.
I don't know. What do you, is LA scary or San Francisco? They're both the same.
I don't think either is particularly scary.
Maybe it's a foreign person. I'm like,
Maybe.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both are pretty scary.
Yeah.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. To me, LA is like,
It's intense.
yeah. I get it now when Mail-In says like you need to be alert like constantly because like in Japan you just like fucking zonk out and you
Okay,
just,
when you're in fucking Japan, then you know, like, yeah, you're fine. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
have any of you been to like, I don't know, like Baltimore or Detroit or okay?
You're from Michigan, right?
I'm from Michigan, yeah.
Right.
So like I've been to Detroit, and you know, my wife grew up in Maryland, so I've been to like outside the Inner Harbor, Baltimore. Like,
Right.
those are areas that I'm like, this can be a little.
What is it like? What's the experience like over there?
There's definitely areas where like we shouldn't walk through here.
Because I think about that about LA. I just
Yeah.
think
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I would not feel safe walking
Downtown
around.
LA, especially.
Downtown
But
LA.
downtown LA is disgusting. But
Yeah.
right. In general. But,
Yeah. Safety is what was it?
option.
Relative, right? Safety is relative depending on where you come from.